Forgive me, Father. I am 71 years old and I have never imagined I'll be telling a story like this. My wife is 4 years older than me and she has been unwell for a long time. Her health has slowly declined and walking has become especially difficult for her. We've been married for decades, built a life together, raised children who are now grown, married, and living in New York. For a full year, I've stopped working completely. I stayed home every day to take care of my wife. It wasn't easy, but it was what needed to be done. Eventually, when our children came to visit, they saw how exhausted I was. We sat and had an honest discussion. After a while, we ultimately decided to hire a caregiver to help out. Through a family friend, we found a practical nurse who agreed to live with us and take care of my wife full time. Our children covered all the medical expenses. For the first time in a long while, I felt a bit of relief. With help in the house, I was finally able to return to work. I own a business, and thankfully, my staff had kept everything running smoothly while I was away. The caregiver didn't have children, so she spent most of her time at our home. At first, everything felt normal. But slowly, lines that should have never been crossed began to blur. I won't make excuses for what happened, I let my guard down. Feelings grew where they shouldn't. What started as comfort and familiarity turned into something I knew was wrong, but couldn't stop. To put it lightly, we were making that type of gumbo only me and my wife should be making. Bro, what? Whoa. You reached this far and you haven't liked or subscribed yet? Don't miss out on awesome stories that we're gonna tell. Lock in. Then one night, everything came crashing down. After cooking up a delicacy. Oh my god! Both the caregiver and I fell asleep. While we were resting, my wife woke up in pain. She called out for help, but neither of us heard her. Alone and struggling. She eventually reached her phone and called a neighbor. Around 1 in the morning, there was a loud pounding at our front door. When I opened it, the neighbor looked at me and said my wife needed help immediately. In that moment, I felt so ashamed after realizing how badly I had failed her. As the caregiver rushed out to assist, the situation became even more humiliating. In her panic, she hadn't fully composed herself, and the neighbor had to point it out. It was in this moment that everything became painfully obvious. When my wife asked where we had been, I told her we had fallen asleep. She didn't even believe me. She accused me of being involved with the caregiver. Huh? And demanded that I send her away immediately. I tried to explain that the caregiver was very helpful and we couldn't manage without her, but the damage was already done. Later, my wife spoke to our children and told them that she could have died that night and neither of us came to her aid. Hearing that broke something inside me because it was true. I told my children not to take everything their mother said at face value. They tried to calm her down, to ease her tension. The caregiver also made it clear she didn't want to lose her job. Now, I'm stuck in a situation I created. I know I made a terrible mistake and now I'm left asking myself how to move forward, how to protect my wife, preserve my family, and live with the consequences of my own actions. I know I crossed a line I shouldn't have approached. Some choices just don't affect one moment. They ripple through everything that comes after, and I'm still living with that ripple. Father, what do I even do in a situation like this? Wow, what a pickle you have gotten yourself into. First off, I would like to remind you of the vow you made when you got married. You promised that you'd be there for her in sickness or health. I understand that you can't do certain tasks you could have in your youth, hence why you would need a caregiver. But you should have kept things strictly professional between the two of you. Cheating is unforgivable. So you'd have to live with the consequences of your actions.
I still ask myself this question. Why did I let my sister convince me to go to the carnival that night? I honestly don't even know myself. At the time, it felt harmless. Just music, flashing lights, people laughing, and the feeling that the world was bigger than the rules at home. We wanted to feel grown. We wanted freedom, even if only for a few hours. And for a while, it worked. We were laughing, moving from ride to ride, letting the noise and chaos swallow our worries. It felt like nothing could touch us until my phone rang. It was Mom. The second I saw her name, my stomach dropped. When I answered, her voice was calm, but that calm scared me more than yelling ever could. She asked where we were. We panicked and told her we were with a friend, but there was a pause on the line. Before we could explain, she said something that still echoes in my head. Wherever you are, you might as well stay there for the night. The call ended, and my sister and I just stared at each other. We knew what that meant. Our mom didn't joke about punishment. Fear took over, and instead of going home, we made a decision that would change everything. We stayed out. One of the guys we were with noticed how shaken we were and offered to help. He bought us food and said we could wait things out at a friend's place. By that point, my sister and I weren't thinking clearly. We were tired, overwhelmed, and emotionally all over the place. That night didn't go the way I thought it would. Things crossed the lines I wasn't ready for. Before we knew it, we were crossing the T's and dotting the I's on the adulthood form that we weren't ready for, if you get what I mean. I remember feeling disconnected, like my body was there, but my mind had stepped away. Before I knew it, things got physical with all of us within a short time. Everything felt blurred: time, faces, and decisions. I didn't fully understand what had happened in the moment, only that something felt very wrong. Kinda like a level 1 hero versus a level 99 boss, damn near impossible. By the time morning came, I just wanted to go home. We packed our stuff with what dignity we had left when one of them offered to take us home. So we got in his car and took what felt like an eternity to get home. Father, I felt so ashamed. I wanted the ride to end so badly. I kept searching for landmarks that we were close to home. After the most awkward ride in my life, we finally got home. And thankfully, Mom had left for work. Even though I lived here all my life, walking into the house felt strange, like I wasn't welcome. Everything looked and felt the same, but I wasn't. I carried a heaviness I didn't know how to explain. My body ached, my lower abdomen felt sore, like it was reacting to something my mind still hadn't processed. When Mom came home, we lied. We answered her questions, smiled when we were supposed to, and acted as if nothing had happened. But something had happened. Not long after, both my sister and I started feeling sick and had to see a doctor. Sitting there, listening to him explain what was wrong and how to be careful in the future made everything painfully real. It wasn't judgmental, but it was impossible to ignore. That was the moment I realized that some experiences didn't end when the night was over. Time passed, but the memory stayed. And later, I ran into one of the men again. They acted normal, casual, like the night meant nothing at all. When he tried to talk to me, I shut it down immediately. For the first time, I knew what I didn't want, and I didn't hesitate. I promised myself I would never put myself in that position again. Now my life looks different. I'm dating someone who is kind, patient, and serious about his future. He goes to church, he talks about faith, purpose, and building a life together. Sometimes he talks about marriage and the kind of woman he hopes to grow old with. And every time he does, a quiet voice inside me asks, if he really knew, would he still stay? I love him, but I don't always feel worthy of the future he talks about. I didn't grow up in the church. My past doesn't match his, and sometimes it feels like I'm carrying a version of myself he's never met and might not accept. Father, I need your advice.
I would recommend you tell your current boyfriend about your past. If he's serious about marrying you, as he says, this is crucial information he should be aware of. And if he truly loves you, I'm pretty sure he'll make the right decision. We've reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any interesting stories you'd like for me to share, feel free to send them to the email in our bio. See ya, bye.